Good morning, Chevyland. Welcome to another training video and an episode of the Chevrolet NER YouTube channel. My name is Joshua Detzel. I'm going to discuss with you and show you how to implement what we call a fix and float. To give you an example of a fix and float, here's one of my demo sites here. You can see how this says choose the Silverado color that fits your style. Here's a blue one, and here's a red one, and here's a black one. So this is actually 3 separate fix and floats in one. This is pretty unique, this example here. I'll show you another example of a fix and float. People like to put fix and floats with their maps or their directions to make it stand out a little bit. On my other demo site, this is probably the easiest and most common fix and float. By zooming out of your map and showing your customers where you are located in regards to landmarks that they can identify with. So most websites, when they launched, or even currently, the maps are like this, right? Nobody really knows, other than Maverick Dental Laboratories here, where this location is. So this gives your customers a better idea of where your location is. You can put any graphic or image in this background. I'll show you. I did another one here. Here's another one. They're completely customizable. There's another one. All right, so let's jump in. Before we actually get into how to implement a fix and float, if the quality of your video is lacking, a reminder that once you open up this video, in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a little gear for settings. Click this. There's a little drop-down that says quality. Open it up, and then most of the time it goes to 360. Just click 720p HD, and this will increase the quality of your video and make it a little bit more clear. So again, down in the bottom corner under settings, click the little gear, quality, and 720p HD. All right, so let's get into Dealer Command Center here, and we're going to make sure that the website is highlighted under My Tools and hit Go. We're going to work in the editor today. So it's easiest to create a fix and float. We're just going to do it on the home page today. So I'm going to come into here, this L1 homepage, GM US promotion, and we're going to add a card. And when you add a card, it actually goes to the very bottom of your landing page. So we can actually just call this fix and float, add the card, or you can add it as a generic. It doesn't really matter. I'm just going to call it a fix and float. They're both the same card. Technically, they're both generic cards. So let's go down to the bottom here. So I'm just going to show you real quick. If this fix and float goes all the way down to the bottom, notice how there's nothing over here that corresponds with it because we just added the card and haven't added anything to it. But if you click on the little content right here, notice how it says generic here. Okay, so what that means is that in order to get an asset to show up in this card, it needs to be uploaded in the content library under generic. Okay? If you upload your graphic into promotion, department, dealership, anywhere else, it's not going to be accessible from that generic card. So, first step, when we're uploading content, let me just reset here. First step when we're uploading content is first we got to find out where the content lives in relation to this card. So if you want to, for example, replace this asset here, this truck, Then I go and find the truck here, Silverado. I click on content. So if I want to replace him, I got to find out where the content lives by clicking in content, hitting filter, and then it'll show me that he lives in generic as well. So I'd have to upload a new Silverado truck to generic in order to replace that asset, okay? So now that we know where our content lives, I'm going to come back into the content library. Whoops. Made me real big there. I'm going to come back into the content library, click on generic, and we're going to add a record. I'm just going to call this fix and float map. Okay. Your title will be what appears down here. So this says we moved. So I'm just going to say, you know, let's say, you know, click here to get directions to our new location or our newest dealership, right? Let's say we just bought this dealership. Subtitle, I'm just going to write in here for the sake of this example. This is an example. And then my copy, I'm actually just going to copy and paste this just for the sake of time. All right, because I just want to show you where this stuff appears. So title, subtitle, copy. You don't need to add any of these other things. Save and continue. And then primary images, okay? So the only two parts of the record details, or the only two categories that you need to fill out under the record details here, this is record details, is basic information and primary image. So now that I've filled out the basic information, which is just my title, my subtitle, and my copy, I'm going to come back in and I'm going to find a graphic to upload. Here's a map. So here is my graphic. Image name, it's just for internal use, so I'm just going to call this fix and float map. And my alt text is what Google identifies this image as. So Google doesn't identify that this is a map. What Google identifies, what they relate to this image is the alt text, right? So I can come down here into the alt text, and I would say if this is a map of my dealership, let's say my dealership is Excellence Chevrolet, so I would just say directions to Excellence Chevrolet in Danbury, Connecticut. All right, and then save and continue. That's it. So once this refreshes, our graphic will show down here. I publish changes, hit yes, publish, and we are almost done. So now our graphic is uploaded. I'm going to go back into the editor and pull the graphic from the content library into this card. So I come down to Fix and Float. I click on Content. And I'm just going to type into my search here, Fix and Float. And he should come up. Philly Fix and Float. So notice how we've done a lot of these examples here. Fix and Float map is the one that I uploaded, and save the selection. All right, so he's down at the very bottom here. All right, there he is. Okay, so notice how this doesn't look very good. So we just have to go back down to our Fix and Float right here. Click on the little teardrop for styles. And there's a little gear up here. These are called motifs. See, it says no motif selected. So if you click this little gear, there's actually a motif called Fix and Float somewhere in here. Oops, I'm sorry. Let me go back. Background, fix and float. There we go. They have made an enhancement. So, just to refresh what I did, not the motif, but you click on styles. Let me go back. This fix and float here in this card. Click on the styles. Then come down into background right here. And then select fix and float here. And then hit done. So this is what it looks like. So notice this is my copy. Or I'm sorry. This is my title. This is my copy. Notice how my subtitle isn't showing up here. In order to make your title and copy and subtitle show up, you just click on the Show Properties here. And see it says Content and Title. You do Content, Title, and Subtitle. Done. And it will make my subtitle show up. And there you go. I could even turn these off if I wanted to. Come back in, say I don't want any titles. Then that'll go away. And I can come back and turn off my copy. And I can just have a graphic sitting there. All right. Let me show you just two more quick little things here. So we're still messing around in these properties here. I'm going to turn my title back on, and my copy, and my subtitle. All right, so let's say I want this to be on the other side. I can actually come back into my styles here and the little teardrop, the fourth one in. And I can mess with this card just like I can everything else, right? So I can add some color, make it dark, transparent. I can scrunch that. Not this one, justification, here we go. So notice how it's over to the left. I can make it go to the right, left and right, and center it. Okay, we can hit done. And let's say I want this to go to my hours and directions page. Maybe this might help me increase conversions, right? This is pretty flashy. It looks pretty cool, different than most of what your competitors have. So we can actually add a link to go to our hours and directions page here. So, which would probably be ideal, right? So we hit properties again. And if you scroll down, you can actually add a link here. So we're going to click add link. I'm going to find pages on this site, and I'm just going to type in hours and directions, and then my label is just going to say hours and map. Whatever you want to call it is fine with me. That is it. Then I'm going to let me go back. I'm going to publish changes and view live site, so I can just show you what this looks like on my live demo site. So if I go down here, here's my map that I just created. Hours and map is right here. Your customers can now click on this to show up to your hours and directions page, right? And then they click on it, goes to Google Maps. You could also, instead of sending this right to your Google Maps, you can actually just take this link, copy it, go into your editor, back into the properties, go to edit this link, and I could say custom link, paste it in, done, and now a customer can click right on this and end up right on the Google Maps. That's all for today. Thank you for joining our WebEx, and please stay tuned for more videos.